95.7 The Hog, the Morning Hog Show, back with our second installment. It's been renewed. The Morning Hog Brew Review. Vinnie, welcome back. Let's hear it for you. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me back.
You know, I mean,
Appreciate
somebody's got to applaud for somebody in here.
Absolutely.
You brought guests. You do the big introductions, man.
You got it. I've got Pete and Ed from Tomoka Brewing, and they're going to talk about Tomoka, which is located over in Port Orange. I'm going to let them talk about the beginnings and the beers that we have today. So, Pete, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Peter. I'm the owner and head brewer for Tomoka Brewing Company in Port Orange. We opened a little bit over 3 years ago. We have a 15-barrel system, you know, producing about 30 different styles of beer a year.
And then Ed?
My name is Ed. I'm the Central Florida sales rep for Tomoka Brewing Company, and I've been with the company since our original beginnings, and somehow Pete is stuck behind me, stuck with me, so there's that.
Yeah, don't stick behind you. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, that was a bad phrasing.
Yeah, that's understood. Well, we can totally edit this video. We're not going to edit. So, Vinnie, Tomoka is the flavor of the day, and there's stuff, obviously, we're going to be sampling some very tasty Tomoka beverages. I've tried some before and can't wait to try these, but in the world of craft beers or microbrews, where would you classify Tomoka at this point?
We actually call these guys our hyper local, being that they're in the same county that we're at.
Okay.
So we usually call them hyper local. They're right down the road.
Cool.
And Tomoka is actually one of the first local craft breweries that SR Perrott signed to bring on board, and we've both learned how to launch and how to go from there to help us with the next locals that we picked up and went with. So these guys would actually be considered a microbrew, correct? Is that how you would be?
We're microbreweries.
Yeah.
It's nano breweries are the really small ones that don't really distribute beer outside of their facility. We do distribute, outside. So obviously, SR Perrott is one of our distributors, and even available a large part of the state, mostly in specialty shops and specialty bars. But we're available almost the entire state of Florida right now. So.
Yeah, here in local in Volusia, they're available at ABC. They're available Total. They're available at Kenny's Liquor. On premise, you can pretty much get them anywhere. They're available right next to here at McKay's. They're available up in Palm Coast at Brass Tap.
Right.
The Ballpark actually runs a special on Fridays. It's a happy hour special, buy one get one.
I thought this was a joke, by the way, because that's too good to be true.
It's the truth, man. We wouldn't kid you. Absolutely. Yeah. So you can actually go over to the Ballpark on Fridays before the game and get a buy one, get one. On the
Tortugas are doing it right with you guys. I love this.
So Tortugas, Tomoka, it all goes together. So it all works out pretty decent. I'm going to let these guys talk about the beer.
Beautiful.
I don't like stepping on them. Let them do what they want to do. So which one do you guys want to open first?
Well, let's probably start with the Hazy Sunrise Retail. We are big on promoting Florida agriculture and try to use as many Florida ingredients in our beers as possible. So, Hazy Sunrise was basically one of our easy drinking beers. It's a Hefeweizen style beer that has a little bit of like banana flavor from the yeast. And so accentuate the fruit flavor, we add Florida citrus peels to it, which is usually orange peel. It just kind of gives that nice, like easy drinking citrusy note. I think it's a great, flavor for our beach town, being like, we actually, that's one of our most popular beers to sell. So those are one of the things that's available in 6-packs, that we actually can.
Tell me about Hefeweizen versus everybody IPAs and then lagers and everything else.
So lagers obviously is a cold fermented beer versus Hefeweizen is fermented a little bit higher temperature, so you get a little bit more fruitiness out of it, while like a light lager or a lager is going to have a little bit more just crisp, clean taste. Hefeweizen, you're going to have a little bit more fruitiness coming out of it. Obviously, that's why we use the particular yeast strains from, obviously, German-style yeast strain that does create like we call banana esters. So you have like kind of like this banana flavor to it as a subtle note. And that's why we felt that, to accentuate that, we add a little bit more citrus note to it, so it gives that like nice little just fruity kick.
Is that all from... listen how technical I'm going to sound. Is that all from fermentation process, or because you're just talking about a plant that all of a sudden takes on notes of
all these notes? The banana flavor comes from a yeast. That's basically a particular compound that the yeast produces and actually tastes like bananas.
Right.
The citrus peel we actually add in the boil towards the end of the boil, so we have retain the most of the aromas of the orange peel. and it basically just sits in the beer for about another half hour before we transfer it into a tank for fermentation. So like that particular fruit flavor comes from actually Florida citrus. You know. So.
Excellent. Guy, how's yours?
Oh, I love it.
I mean, what's not to like, right? With the hazy sunrise.
There is 5 more over there, so.
Yeah, it'll be really shy. Tell me about the idea of having an on-premise location. There's a lot of breweries, a lot of beers out there that don't have it. Obviously there's an advantage to having a destination where people can go. You're brewing the beer there. People can eat, you can entertainment and all that stuff. Is that a big advantage to getting the product grown throughout Central Florida and beyond?
People like it, yes. You know, obviously we have our brewery. You can see it from the restaurant side. So when you come in to dine with us, you can see it from through big windows. You know, and when we do brewery tours a couple of times a week, you know, and I basically talk about the process for people who are interested to listen to me.
Right.
You know, and so yeah, there's definitely it's a big pull for people to understand that it is being produced in house. So it's
Cool.
not just the food made in there fresh for
Yeah.
you know, all scratch, but the beer too. That what they're drinking is made in house.
It also helps on our side, so we can actually send accounts over there and go, hey, you want to try the different beers? Go ahead and try over there, see the whole process, see how it works.
Cool.
They have a better understanding, so when they bring it back and they put it on at their on-premise location,
Right.
they're able to discuss it with their people and understand it better.
Right. Give me the grassroots background though. Did it start from, you know, a extra room in your house brewing?
Well, with these guys, I mean, it was Jen and Pete doing their thing. You know, you guys did a lot in Gainesville, Ocala area for a while, and
So
learned from some of the best who have also started their own breweries. Yeah, I mean, you guys
Yeah.
are brewing alongside, you know, a lot of great brewers now.
you know, obviously a lot of people in the craft beer industry, we started to that. Like first we just enjoyed craft beer, you know, and then we got into home brewing, you know, to try to make our own beer, and
Right.
it kind of became an obsession where we just brewing like several batches a week, and
Right.
I was giving away more beer to my friends than I could actually consume just to try a new recipe, you know. So that's how both me, you know, and my wife had some culinary background, so. We visited a lot of breweries at that point. I think before we started our own brewery, you know, we visited every single brewery in the state of Florida. And one issue that I personally had with it that, you know, you go to most breweries, you have 2 beers, and then you're hungry and you want to go somewhere else to eat, you know, because there's
Right.
food. So we wanted to kind of combine our culinary background and our home brewing obsession and open a brew pub that actually serves food too. So we basically tried to make everything from scratch, you know, on our recipes too. So just like the beer, the food is basically made from scratch. You know, I developed our pizza dough recipe since I used to be a pastry chef.
Ooh,
long
now
time
you're talking to me now.
So that kind of like really to create the whole experience instead of, you know, like you already have a food and the beer comes hand in hand, and, you know, and the pairings and everything just matches really
Awesome.
well. You know, so.
So their first place that they opened up was over in Ormond. So it was a pizza place, and they made beer there, and it was a very small process that they were using, very small amount of beer, and they had a refrigerator. They would put the fermenters in and all that kind of stuff, and that's how they get started. And that's when they met me.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah.
Ed was our first employee, you know, just basically helping us with bartending, and yeah, it was tiny.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's like 35, 40-seater restaurant still. It's still open, but now we produce all of our beer in our Port Orange location, and so we did that for a year and a half, and those were really like 40-gallon batches, so we
Really?
couldn't really keep up with any, like there was no distribution of that without
Yeah.
buying more beer.
Well, like you said, giving away to your friends.
Just to, you know, just to put it, like, keep all my eight taps going. You know, we usually have like 3 or 4 of our own beers and about 4 guest taps, you know, through distributors. And then, you know, obviously, about a year and a half later, we partnered up, you know, with Rich and Sue, who's a good friend of ours, and we opened a new location in Port Orange, you know, which with a much bigger brewer that where now we can produce, you know, basically we have about 20 beers on tap, and all of is
Really?
produced in-house.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we actually drank a lot of beer in his kitchen in
Yeah.
Ormond.
Yeah.
To try to get Pete to come with us and sign with us on the distributor side. So
And you can go ahead and tell stories, please.
You can actually see some of those bottles we drank if you go to the Ormond location. They're still sitting up on the wall, just
Yeah.
Really?
just for the stories of, oh God.
Yep.
Is this the mad scientist part of this process where you guys were just trying, literally throwing stuff together and see what works?
Well, yeah, part of it is like obviously with that anything is that, you know, obviously we buy beer or like I get beer from craft beer being a kind of strange in the sense that, like, there are breweries all over our country, and even 5 years ago when we opened the Ormond location, it was hard to get. Certain beers are only available in certain states, so there's a big beer trading kind of things going on in the background, and people call me and like, hey, I would like to get this Florida brewery, and I send you this Illinois brewery for you. Just like, so we kept trading beers, and obviously when they come in, it's really, it's kind of like it's a hobby, it's called a bottle share, just like when you open like 35 bottles
Right, yeah.
of beer, and you keep tasting one by one, and then obviously some of them you like, some of them you don't like, some of them you find interesting, this and that, and then and obviously that influences your decision after that when you're making your own beers, that I really like that character, and I think you got it like this or that, and then and like kind of start incorporating those ideas.
Yeah.
Like a chef, or just like like anybody who has creative field, like learned from other people that are in the same field, and just like and try to incorporate those ideas.
Is there something that just hasn't? Is there some maybe a fruit or something that just doesn't work? That just you try, like, that's not.
There's some lavender is really difficult to put in beer. It is like I had it before, a couple of beers that worked. A lot of them is way too overpowering.
It's good for dryer sheets though. Lavender dryer sheets are really good.
I was gonna say,
And soap.
Yeah, it's soap.
one of the things I've noticed is that if you say that there's no way that it'll be in a beer, somebody will find a way and it will work. It's
a challenge
at some point.
One
of the ratios, whatever.
Yeah.
One of the other brewers that I have, actually, he made a beer with shiitake mushrooms. That was Tom.
Tom Mitch,
Okay.
He actually said it wasn't. He didn't say it was good. He said he made a beer with shiitake mushrooms.
Yeah.
So they're out there trying anything and everything. I mean, there's beers out there with people that strange stuff that they're using. They're using yeast from everywhere. Rogue did a beer from a yeast from a beard. There's another company that did a yeast from a young lady's area. So there's all kinds of stuff that's out there.
The touching tribute right there.
There was one that yeast out of the air near the pyramids in Egypt for beer. So
I would try that one, but the other two, no.
yeah, not so much.
I'm not interested. Not at all.
It's disappointing because I have something at home I was gonna have. All right, it's the Morning Hog
By the FCC, right?
Brew Review. Yeah, it's all been cleared. We blurred out the